The Atlanta Falcons just caught a break, and maybe not just one, but two. After a week full of frustration, second-guessing, and fans arguing about whether this team was slipping out of rhythm, the football gods just opened a door of opportunity. And it couldn't come at a better time, because standing in their way this weekend are the Washington Commanders, a team that's been riding hype more than substance. But here's the headline that every Falcons fan needs to hear: Washington's superstar quarterback, Jayden Daniels, the reigning offensive rookie of the year and the heartbeat of their offense, isn't right. His knee hasn't fully healed since that Week 2 sprain against Green Bay, and it's not just a tough-it-out injury, it's the kind of problem that changes how an entire offense operates. Last week, head coach Dan Quinn sat him down and rolled with Marcus Mariota. And while that move got them by for one game, it left more questions than answers heading into this week. If Daniels isn't at 100%, Washington doesn't just lose a player, they lose their identity. He's their playmaker, their spark, their everything. Without him fully mobile, that Commanders' offense goes from dangerous to predictable. And for a Falcons defense that's been waiting for the right matchup to prove itself, this could be the perfect storm. And that's only half the story. On the other side of the ball, Washington might also be without their top receiver, Terry McLaurin, who's battling uncertainty with his own status. Strip away Daniels at full speed, and take away McLaurin's reliability, suddenly, this dangerous Commanders team looks a whole lot less intimidating. And here's where things get spicy, because Washington's defense, the unit everyone praises as elite, might just be the most overrated group in the NFL right now. Numbers look good on paper, but tape tells a different story. Cracks in their secondary. Inconsistency up front. And a tendency to fold when the game gets tight. So for Atlanta, this isn't just another Sunday. It's a chance to flip the narrative, to turn doubt into confidence, and to take advantage of an opponent that's limping into the fight. The only question is, will they seize the moment, or let it slip away? Last week, Marcus Mariota stepped in for Washington and did just enough to keep them afloat, over 200 passing yards, a touchdown through the air, and even one with his legs. Solid numbers. Respectable. But let's be honest, Mariota is not Jayden Daniels. Not even close. He doesn't have that same electricity, that game-breaking speed, that ability to take a broken play and turn it into a nightmare for defenses. And here's where things get really interesting for this week. Daniels returned to practice, yes, but it was limited. When reporters pressed him about his status for Sunday, his answer was telling: "It's not my decision." Those words don't come from a man fully ready to go. They come from a player still waiting on doctors, still battling pain, and possibly staring at a knee brace that could rob him of the very thing that makes him special: mobility. Think about what that means for Atlanta. Daniels' entire game is built on his legs, on his ability to extend plays and break defenses with his speed. Take even a half step away from him, slow him down just a fraction, and suddenly this Falcons defensive front doesn't have to fear the same chaos outside the pocket. Instead, they can attack. They can pin their ears back, go after the quarterback, and make Washington's offense play on Atlanta's terms. And if Washington decides to go with Mariota again? Even better. He's a serviceable veteran, but defenses don't lose sleep game planning for him. He doesn't scare you the way Daniels does. But as big as that storyline is, it's not the only storm cloud hanging over Washington. Their best receiver, Terry McLaurin, is in serious doubt. After hurting his quad last week against the Raiders, he limped off in the third quarter and hasn't seen the practice field since. Reports say he's even sought second medical opinions, and that's rarely a good sign. If McLaurin can't go, Washington's passing attack shrinks dramatically. Instead of a proven Pro Bowl playmaker, they'll be leaning on rookies, role players, and Curtis Samuel to carry the load. That's not the same threat. That's not the same team. So for Atlanta, the opportunity here couldn't be clearer: a hobbled quarterback, a star receiver who may not even play, and a chance to expose a Washington offense that suddenly looks vulnerable. The stage is set, now it's up to the Falcons to pounce. Let's give credit where it's due: Washington still has names. Jahan Dotson is talented, Jamison Crowder can make plays, but let's not kid ourselves. None of these guys can do what Terry McLaurin does. He's the heartbeat of that passing attack, the one who can stretch the field, torch elite corners, and change a game with a single catch. Without him, Washington doesn't just lose a receiver, they lose their identity on offense. And here's where the stars might finally align for Atlanta. The Falcons' secondary has been battling its own challenges, especially with A.J. Terrell likely sidelined. That's a massive hole. But think about it, if Washington is already without their mobile quarterback at full strength and without their WR1? That's not just a crack in the armor, that's a full-on opening, begging for the Falcons to take advantage. Now, let's flip the field and talk defense, because the Commanders have a reputation that's honestly built more on hype than reality. Sure, Dan Quinn has a name. He's respected. His defenses are supposed to be tough, fast, and aggressive. But this year? The numbers tell a very different story. Through 2 weeks, Washington ranks 20th in the NFL. They're giving up over 5 yards per play, which is bottom-tier football. And the most shocking part? They haven't forced a single turnover. Not one. 0. That's the same territory as some of the league's worst defenses, including the Dolphins, who are struggling badly. So what does this mean for Atlanta? It means opportunity is knocking. The Falcons' offense hasn't exactly set the league on fire yet, we all know that. It's been flashes, not fireworks. But this? This matchup could be the spark. A defense that doesn't pressure well, doesn't steal possessions, and doesn't flip momentum is the perfect stage for Michael Penix Jr. and this offense to finally explode. If there was ever a time for a statement game, this is it. Forget just surviving, Atlanta has the chance to dominate. To silence doubters. To plant a flag and say, this offense has arrived. So let's put it all together, Falcons fans. Here's the reality going into Commanders Week. First, Jaden Daniels isn't himself. Whether he plays or not, that knee is going to limit him. At best, he's maybe 75 to 80%. That means the magician who usually terrorizes defenses with his legs might be forced to stay in the pocket. And if he can't move like usual? That's a huge win for Atlanta's pass rush. If he sits, then it's Marcus Mariota under center, and we've all seen how predictable that story is. Advantage Falcons. Second, Terry McLaurin might not even suit up. A quad injury is no joke, and without their top receiver, Washington's offense is missing its only true game-changer in the passing attack. Suddenly, a dangerous unit looks ordinary. And third, that so-called tough Washington defense? Numbers don't lie. They're average. Middle of the pack. Nothing about them should scare Atlanta if this team comes ready to fight. That's why this weekend feels like more than just another game, it feels like a crossroads. The Falcons have a golden chance to flip the narrative, to bounce back, and to prove that this roster is built to contend. But here's the catch, opportunity means nothing if you don't take it. Will this offense finally find its rhythm with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm? Will the defense keep forcing turnovers and making game-changing plays like we've seen glimpses of? Or will the Falcons let this chance slip through their fingers, turning what should be a statement win into yet another heartbreaker? This game could decide more than the standings, it could decide the confidence of this fanbase, and maybe even the security of Raheem Morris as head coach. Because if Atlanta can't handle a hobbled quarterback, a wounded wideout, and a shaky defense, the questions are only going to get louder. So now I'll throw it to you, what do you think happens Sunday? Do the Falcons seize the moment and dominate, or do they stumble into a nail-biter that could send this season into chaos?